Hey, what's up guys? Alright, so the chapter actually opens up with us getting some inner monologue from Lucifero, and it pretty much just stems down to him being in shock and disbelief that he actually lost this fight, because as he puts it in the chapter, he's the king of all devils, he's supposed to stand above everyone else power-wise, and yet these two magicless kids actually beat him. And I honestly can't believe it took me this long to realize that Lucifero, the way Tabata writes him, he's pretty much the embodiment of every royal and noble that we dealt with that wasn't a main character in the series in the first half of it, because he's acting exactly the same way they did. Because I mean, think about it, when you look at his actions and the way he's acted since he's manifested, and compare that with characters like say Solid and Nebra when they were first introduced, there's a lot of comparisons between them. And of course the same comparison can be made between him and every other non-major character who's a noble or royal in the Clover Kingdom, because they all have the same kind of superior attitudes towards characters like Asta and Lieb and other characters who they believe to be below them. In fact, that's actually why Lucifero is such a great foil to Asta, not only because of his connection to his past with his mom and everything like that, but because Lucifero pretty much is the embodiment of everything Asta's been fighting against and trying to change, with his hope to become the next Wizard King, because one of his main goals for when he becomes the Wizard King was that he would actually change the Clover Kingdom so that regardless if you're a noble or royal or just a commoner, people will still look at you the same way. There's not going to be any mistreatment or looking down on others just because of their status and how they were born. Which is pretty much the entire existence of Lucifero, because of the fact that he is the king of devils and as far as he's concerned the most powerful being to ever exist. He believes that he's superior to everyone else, and if anyone dares to challenge that, he looks down on them and wants to crush them with every ounce of his being. And that's what ends up causing basically his entire temper tantrum throughout the rest of this chapter. Basically refusing to lose, he gets back up even though he's only like half a torso at this point, and uses his gravity magic to basically pin down Asta and Lieb, who, because Lieb is now so weak after them basically having this long drawn out fight, he can't cover both of them in anti-magic, so they're both actually being affected by his gravity magic in the beginning of this chapter, and Lucifero is looking to actually use his magic to crush the two of them, trying to basically just snag away victory at the last second here. But then Yami and Nog, who both still have Lucifero's arms punched through their chests, so they're pretty much on death's door. It's actually surprising that they're actually able to move, but that's given for these characters, or at least it's given for Yami at this point. But anyway, the two of them actually get involved and actually jump in to save and protect Asta and Lieb. And I mentioned this in my video going over the release for this chapter, but I love the fact that Yami, even though they're in a very dire situation and they're not even sure what they're planning to do is actually going to end up working, he's still shit-talking Lucifero with all the confidence in the world. But anyway, after the two of them get involved, Asta actually manages to stand back up, and just the look that he gives Lucifero in this chapter when he grabs the Demon Destroyer sword is enough to actually send Lucifero packing, because he actually tries to run away in this chapter, because at this point we can actually tell that Lucifero, the king of devils, is actually afraid of Asta and doesn't want to risk challenging him again until he actually manages to fully manifest and get 100% of his power. So he tries to run away as just a torso, but this is when we actually see that Yuno is awake again, and he ends up teleporting Asta right behind Lucifero, and Asta comes slashing down with the Demon Destroyer sword, cutting off another one of Lucifero's horns and cutting into his right shoulder. And that cut right there definitely signifies the ending of this fight, because even though we still don't see Lucifero's heart get cut apart in this chapter, we do see characters like Vanessa, Gray, Patry, and so on looking in shock and disbelief that Asta managed to win. And we also get Adramelic at the end of the chapter clapping at Asta, congratulating him for winning, as he stands over Lucifero's knocked out or possibly dead body. So yeah, that's all that happened in the chapter, and I know a lot of fans, especially on Twitter, I've seen a lot of fans basically very upset by this chapter because they felt like, and I actually kind of agree with them, I actually do think that this chapter was kind of padding, but that's pretty much how the consensus I get online, that a lot of fans think that this chapter was kind of padding and that last chapter was actually the perfect end to the fight, which again I do agree with. There really was no need for Tabata to extend the fight to this chapter, but I'm just glad that it's finally over, and we should be going into the epilogue of this arc in the next chapter, so I'm looking forward to that. But anyway, that's it for the video guys. Thanks for watching, hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please drop me a like, subscribe to the channel, I greatly appreciate it. Comment down below your thoughts and theories on what's going to happen next. Like, do you think Adramelic is going to end up being the next villain going forward? Or is Lucifero going to somehow get away since we still haven't seen his heart be destroyed? That's it for the video guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all later. Peace.